Okay, in this video, we're just going to take a look at some exponent rules. So we're just asked to simplify this and have no negative exponents in our answer. My dog's out and about, so if she starts squeaking, that's because she's got a plaything. Okay, first of all, rules. By this point, you've probably gone over several rules. In most of the books that I've taught out of, they use 8. I can't think of any others right off the top of my head, but there are some that are listed that I would have been like, well, duh, it's been covered in other places. Anyway, so we have rules such as this. So if we have two things that we multiply and they have exponents, as long as the base is the same and it's, there's some other restrictions usually, then you add the exponents. If you divide two things with the same base, you subtract their exponents. Anything raised to the 1 is itself. That's kind of a no-brainer. We use that usually in x. Anything that is not 0 raised to the 0 power is 1. This is a is not 0. It just goes to say that a can't be 0 in this instance either, or in the top instance either for generalized m's and n's, because you might run into that problem of m or n being 0, and this forbids it. And then finally, anything raised to the -1 is its inverse, or in the case that it's on the bottom, is still its inverse, but it just flips it to the top. So these are 5 of the rules. There are a few more. Anything that is multiplied and the whole product is raised to the exponent, you can distribute that exponent. I'm going to use that in this example. Anything that's being divided and raised to an exponent, a common exponent, you can go ahead and distribute it that way as well. Kind of follows from that. And then finally, if you raise a power to a power, you end up dropping down 1 on the order of operations and multiply them. All right, so let's use these rules here and see if we can't fix this here. Now, one of the things to pay attention to is that this outer exponent here applies to this entire mess inside. So how you would like to go about it is entirely up to you. These rules, by and large, can be done in any order. So you can kind of pick and choose how you wish to do them. The only thing that is not in order is this -2. You can, in a sense, kind of fake it and put it in, but I wouldn't recommend it. Because it's being multiplied and the rest are working with exponents, I would go ahead and do the exponents first. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. The first way that you can do this is you can do this work with the stuff on the inside and get that reduced to whatever form you would like. Then you could go ahead and distribute that -3 exponent. You could distribute the -3 exponent right now. You could flip just using the negative and then distribute that 3 exponent. You could work with stuff inside, apply the negative, and then on a different step apply the cube. It doesn't matter, but there's 7 different ways that you can already go ahead and start. So that's why you just kind of have to pick the way that works best for you. So I recommend trying a couple of different ways and then picking the better of the 2. Don't try all 7 right up front. You're just going to get frustrated. All right, so here we go. Personal choice. I don't like negative exponents. If I can distribute them away, I will. If I can flip them away, I will, just simply because that's one more thing that I can screw up a sign on. So if there's a way, I'll find it. Don't you worry. This -2 stays up front. It's not included in any of this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work inside this set of parentheses, and I'm going to move stuff around until I have only positive exponents on my variables. This is a personal choice. It is not necessary. This negative on the y to the -2 is going to flip the y to the bottom. So we'll have 3x to the 5th on top, and then we're going to have a y on the bottom, and the 2 is now positive. The negative, and this is kind of using this last piece here, the negative is actually -1 times 2. So I'm saying take y to the -1 and then raise that to the 2. That's what makes the -2. The y to the -1 says flip it to the bottom, the square applies the square. In essence, the negative flips it. Okay, so now that I've got that in just positive exponents, I've still got this -3 exponent on the outside. Now, like I stated before, this applies to this entire fraction inside. So we're going to be utilizing, by and large, these two pieces right here. So already I've ticked off using the inverse. I'm going to be using these two a little bit later, and I'm also using the power to a power rule. I'm kind of doing it all at once, so it might get a little confusing, but just bear with me. The -2 is still out front. I am going to only deal with the negative at this point. Again, this is a personal choice. You can do however you wish. I'm sure I'll get comments saying, well, shouldn't you do it? Yes, you can, and it's okay. This is just my personal preference. The negative flips the fraction, so the y squared comes up top, and the 3x to the 5th goes down below, and I'm still left with this cube. Then, what shall we move to? Let's move to blue. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute the cube to everything. So every piece gets it. Without writing it specifically, each one of these parts is being raised to a power of 3. That means that we're going to incorporate this power to a power rule. We're going to multiply the exponents as we move through. So I have this 3 times 2 gives me 6. So that's y to the 6. On the bottom, the 3 does not have an exponent, so it's being treated as a 1, just like this unity. And so this is going to be 3 to the 3rd. We'll clean that up later. Then finally, we have x to the 5th, and we're raising it to the 3rd power. That's going to give us x to the 15th. We multiply those exponents. That takes care of that exponent. So at this point, I can do one of two things. I can bring the -2 in, or I can clean up this 3 to the 3rd. I'm going to choose to clean up the 3 to the 3rd. So I have 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So this is going to be -2, and then in parentheses, y to the 6 over 27x to the 15th. From here, recognize that -2 is really just -2 over 1 as a fraction, and you multiply straight across. So this is going to be -2 y to the 6 over 27x to the 15. That is the final answer. This isn't the only way to do it, but what you will find out in your struggles, or perhaps in your investigations, either way, you will find out that you will pretty much go through all of these steps at some point, but perhaps in a different order. And that's perfectly fine. So keep working on it, keep learning the steps, keep learning all of the rules. By and large, the rules can be twisted and bent so long as they stay within the order of operations and they stay logically consistent. Those are the only restrictions. All right, I hope this helped. Take care.